Whoa, that definitely ain't right. Dang, she's starting to get on up there, ain't she? Whoa, a man can only dream, right? That's better.
What's going on, everybody? This is D Frank, and I'm back with the Black ScatPack. And you may be wondering why I'm sitting in the house, and even wondering what was up with the intro. Some of you in the Challenger and Charger community may know about this little thing right here. It's called the TaZer, and I'm gonna go in depth about it. And some of the questions I'm gonna go ahead and answer right off the bat, because when I first was looking to it, a lot of people didn't even bother answering the question. Will this void your warranty whenever you go inside and change like the settings, if you have a RT or whatnot, to SRT pages? No, because everything pretty much is reversible. And here I'm gonna go ahead and show you the setup of how you update it, how you sync it to the computer, even show you custom light show setups and various other screens and modes that I've been able to play around with. So let's get right into it.
Here we have right here, we're on the Z Automotive Technology website, and you would click TaZer and you'll see what our vehicle is good for: the 2011 through 2016 Charger and the Chrysler 300 through Hellcat, 2015-2016 Challenger, 6-speed or the automatic, base model through the Hellcat. Hopefully y'all can read. So the most important thing is right here. If you have any questions about any of the features, you can click and download the operations manual, and you can click right here to download the latest firmware. And fortunately, I already have it downloaded, so I'm going to save you a little bit of time. And it's located right here. I'll just go to my menu, find the TaZer software, which is in the Z Automotive folder on my computer. Open it up. Here you have program, configure, data logging. Right here, we're going to go to configure. This here is how you would bring up how to do the custom light shows. And when we go outside, we will go more into details about that. But for right now, we're going to go to program. You can get the newest version, or you can select it. Since I already downloaded, we're going to select new firmware. Right here's a new firmware. You would open that up, hit upgrade. It's installing the new firmware. It might take a little while, give or take. But while it's doing that, I explain the new firmware right now is currently updating bugs from the last firmware, and the last firmware was a real big upgrade compared to the other ones, because for the 2016 challenges, I noticed now we're able to finally run eco mode, which is something I was looking forward to in the past. And like as I showed you in the intro, on the startup screens, you now have the Hellcat, the ScatPack shaker, the shaker, and then I already had, since I own a ScatPack, I already had the ScatPack B startup, and got a few other little options up in there as well we'll play around with. So we'll just patiently wait for this to update. Now we can close this out and we can get to what y'all really want to see.
Back outside, and I'm about to show you some of the features, action on the car. I'm about to start with the light show.
Here we have where you have the custom setup. It'll help if I had this going. First of all, to get everything going, you need to have the car in the run position, but not with the engine running. So right now, I'm just playing around with have the TaZer set up to the car and have the USB to the computer, and I'm just playing around with a few custom settings, just showing that you could create your own custom light shows. As you see right now, running a custom setup with as you see on the screen, I got the high beams, the low beams, turn signals, front turn signals, rear turn signals, parking lights, just to show you an example of the different settings you could use for your light shows.
First things first, what you would need to do to cycle through the menus, you would need to have number 6 audio set up, and then after holding down the back button, you would tap the cancel button to cycle through the menu options, and to select whatever option you want to select, I should say, you would you'll press the cruise control button in the middle. Alright, we're back. We're about to cycle through some of these options real quick. First thing is the light show, and you have 6 different settings for the light show. The next one would be the clear check engine light. I don't need that on right now because I've basically got the car in run mode but not the engine started, and that's the only reason that's on right now. Come on. Sport 8-speed, yes. I accidentally skipped over the 5-speed. I wouldn't recommend changing those. SRT set is on no right now. To get the SRT pages on the ScatPacks, your RTs or whatever for the 2015 and 16 Challengers and Chargers, you will want to select that, and you already seen that the font changed instantly, and this setup on the uConnect will change as well. Performance settings, yes. So even if you do have the SRT sets on, you would still need that on for the performance pages. And for the ScatPacks, you would need that on to go into sport mode and have your super track pack set up. I just skipped over the paddle shifters. I left that on as yes to have access to the paddle shifters. Camera enabled, yes, for your rear view camera. Daytime running light drop is on no, and you'll just toggle that on and on or off to get rid of the drop when you turn on your signal lights when you have your daytime running lights running. Fog lights enabled, yes, but since I went with the Hellcat conversion, I don't no longer have fog lights. So if you have an SXT and you want to put the fog lights in, you can buy the fog lights and get the tool to get the switch set up to where you can have your fog lights, and instead of taking it to Dodge to have them programmed, you can do it yourself, save you some money. Fog light drop is on no. You can toggle between that if you have the drop on or off. I can't remember how it goes, but you can basically run your fog lights with your high beams at the same time. Seatbelt ding, you can turn that off either yes or no. Steering set is SRT. Camera grid, yes, for when you're backing up you have your lines. DVD CD for if anybody wants to put an aftermarket system in your car. STP enabled. I never really fooled around with that. Drive modes, I never changed that. Same with that. Shift lights, yes, for the guys that has the manual modes or I want to say the manual transmissions. If you didn't have the shift lights, you can play around with that. The splash, the screen, as you seen at the intro of the video, ran through a couple of different of the startup screens. Right now it's in ScatPack mode. So right now, cycling through, none, you get the generic Challenger. Right then and there you seen the Hellcat. Once again, that should be for the shaker, but I've noticed when you have the Srt pages enabled, you know that the shaker or the ScatPack will not show up. So I don't know if anybody has found the way around this. They probably have, but it is what it is. I'll stick with the Hellcat theme since that's what the look I'm going with right now. Eco mode is on no. They just fixed this for the 2016s, I should say, because before I never could get eco mode to stay in eco mode. And I noticed with it driving that it reduces the power just a little bit, but compared to valet mode, which I'll get to when we pull up the Srt pages, yeah, and it stays in 4-cylinder mode a lot longer. And that's showing the latest firmware, and that concludes cycling through the eVic of the menus. Now I'm going to take you to the Srt page. Okay, we're back, and to access the Srt pages with the ScatPack, you just hit the Super Track Pack button, and here we are. We're at the Srt pages, which is the main reason why a lot of guys, including myself, bought this thing. And like I said at the very beginning, that everything is completely reversible. So right now, since it's in eco mode, you see that the paddle shifters are off, the transmission in street setting, and you can go to valet mode, put a passcode in, and if you feel like you want to let your kid brother drive your car and you ain't got to worry about him doing donuts and burnouts, that's a pretty good way to keep him from doing that, because you won't have access to turn off the traction control. You'll start off in second gear. This thing feel like a brick on wheels driving it in valet mode. It doesn't get up and respond like how it should. You have race options right here, which is how you would set up your launch control. And if you turned on your shift light, this is how you would go in to set your shift lights up according to whatever settings you want. Default setup, drive modes, self-explanatory, and same with the custom setting for how you want your drive to feel. And I've noticed between the steering between sport and track, when it comes to even the transmission shifting and the tightness of the steering wheel, it makes a world of difference in my opinion. It really does. But you already know, since these don't come with the adaptive suspension, that we can't change the traction to track mode. So that's about the only downside to that. And when you go to the Srt pages, at the performance settings from before, you could, except you have the Srt Challenger up here, you can change the view of the car. That's your home screen, your timers, the best 0 to 60 I ever had was a 4.7. I'm gonna try to crush that one day, but it sucks doing that on these crappy tires, but we already know about that, so you ain't gotta hear me rant about that. And you can save your times either to USB, to uConnect, however you choose. So, and basically the same gauges you can get going through the eVic. And engine horsepower and your torque, oil pressure, and that's pretty much it. So I hope this video was detailed enough but not drawn out, and you actually get more out of a better understanding of it. In my opinion, it's worth it if you have the automatic. I tried setting this up on my buddies who has the 6-speed. It didn't really provide as many options as you would with the automatic. So be sure to rate, comment, subscribe, and I will see you guys on the next one.